About 2 years ago. And it all started because of a project. A really, really big project. I was working at this small design company. It wasn't fancy. It was just me, my boss Steve, who was always stressed, and a few other people. But then we got this huge client. I mean, huge. Like, if we did a good job, it would put our tiny company on the map. Steve was so excited, he almost spilled coffee on his keyboard. And he was also terrified, because this project was too big for just us. We needed help. We needed to hire a freelancer. And that, my friends, is how I met him. The first time I saw Leo, he was standing in our tiny kitchen, trying to figure out our complicated coffee machine. He was tall, a little messy, and he looked completely lost. I walked in and said, "You have to push the handle down hard. It's stubborn." He turned around and smiled. It was a real smile, you know? Not a polite, work smile. It reached his eyes. "Ah," he said. "So, the coffee machine is the real boss here, not Steve?" And I laughed. Right away. That was it. That was the first tiny crack in my very normal, very boring Tuesday. Leo was a genius with code. I was the creative one, the one who drew the pictures and made the designs. We were supposed to work together on this big project. Steve put us in a small room, just the two of us, with a whiteboard and a lot of post-it notes. "You too," Steve said, pointing his finger at both of us. "You are the dream team. Don't let me down." And for the first few days, it was just work. We were professional. "Kiki, can you make this logo blue?" he would ask. "Leo, can this button actually do something when I click it?" I would answer. It was fine. It was boring. But then something shifted. It happened late one night. We had a deadline the next morning, and the design I made looked perfect, but on the screen, it was all wrong. The colors were ugly. The text was too small. I was so frustrated I wanted to throw my computer out the window. Leo was sitting across from me, typing away, and he saw my face. Oh, he said. "Someone looks like they just saw their internet history." I glared at him. "It's not funny. This is a disaster. It looks like a clown threw up on a website." He got up and came to look over my shoulder. He was so close I could smell his soap. It was a simple, clean smell, like laundry and something else. Something warm. He pointed at the screen. "The design is beautiful, Kiki. Seriously. The problem isn't you. Look," he said, and he started typing on my keyboard. In 10 seconds, he changed the code for the background. Just a tiny bit. And suddenly my colors popped. My text was clear. It looked like magic. I just stared at him. "How did you do that?" He shrugged, but he was smiling. "I speak computer. You speak art. We just need a translator." He looked at me, and his eyes weren't just friendly anymore. They were soft. "You're really talented, you know that?" And my stomach did this weird flip. A flip I had not felt in a very long time. I quickly looked away. "Yeah, well, don't let it go to your head. You just fixed a color. It's not like you saved a puppy." He laughed. "A digital puppy. That's even harder." That night, after we fixed the problem, we didn't go home. We ordered pizza, and we just talked. We talked about everything except work. He told me about his mom who lived far away and called him every Sunday to make sure he was eating vegetables. I told him about my dream to one day design book covers, not just websites. We found out we both secretly loved terrible reality TV shows. It was 3 in the morning when we finally left. The city was quiet. He walked me to my car. "Good night, partner," he said. "Good night, translator," I said. And as I drove home, I had this warm feeling in my chest. And I tried to tell myself it was just because we finished the work. But I knew it was more than that. The project lasted for 3 months. And every day, we got closer. We became a real team. We could finish each other's sentences. He would know what I was thinking just by the way I tapped my pen. I could tell when he was stressed because he would run his hands through his hair until it stuck up everywhere. One time, Steve gave us a terrible idea for a feature. It was so bad. We went back to our little room, closed the door, and just looked at each other. "We have to do it, don't we?" I whispered. Leo nodded, a serious look on his face. Then he picked up a post-it note, wrote Steve's bad idea on it, and stuck it on the back of his computer monitor. "We'll do it," he said, "but we will never speak of it again." I laughed so hard I cried. We worked for 3 days straight on that stupid feature, fueled by coffee and bad snacks from the vending machine. And when we finally finished at 2 a.m., we just collapsed. He put his head down on his keyboard, and I put my head down on my drawing tablet. We were exhausted, but happy. Then I felt his hand. He reached across the space between our desks, and he just put his hand on mine. He didn't say anything. He didn't even look up. He just touched my hand. My heart stopped. I held my breath. I didn't move. I was so scared that if I moved, he would take his hand away. And I didn't want him to. I never wanted him to. That moment, with his hand on mine, in that messy little room, surrounded by empty coffee cups and post-it notes, that was the moment I fell. Really, truly fell. But here's the thing about big projects. They end. The day of the final presentation came. We were both so nervous. We were presenting to the big client. Steve was there, sweating in his good shirt. Leo and I stood side by side, and we presented our work together. I talked about the design, he talked about the code. It was like a dance. We were so in sync. And we nailed it. The client loved it. Steve was so happy he looked like he might cry. There were handshakes and smiles and people saying great job. Later that night, the whole company went out for drinks to celebrate. It was loud and crowded. Leo and I sat at the end of the bar, away from everyone else. We were quiet. The project that had brought us together was over. "So," he said, swirling his drink, "what happens now?" I knew what he meant. I looked at him. "I don't know," I said honestly. "I guess we go back to our normal lives." He looked sad for a second. "I don't want to go back to my normal life," he said quietly. "My normal life before this project was pretty boring." I felt brave. Maybe it was the one drink I had. "Mine too," I said. It was missing something. He turned to look at me. His eyes were so intense. What was it missing? And I couldn't say it. I couldn't say you. So I just shrugged and smiled. He leaned closer. "Kiki, I have to tell you something," he said. "And I'm probably going to make things weird, but I don't care. For the last 3 months, you're the first person I think about when I wake up and the last person I think about before I fall asleep. And I don't want that to stop just because the project is done." My heart was pounding so hard I was sure everyone in the bar could hear it. "Lao." I started. "I know," he said quickly. "I know we work together. Or, we did. I know it's complicated. But I had to say it. I had to know if you felt it too. This thing between us. Was it just the project? Or was it real?" I looked into his eyes. I saw the fear there. The hope. I saw everything I was feeling too. "It was real," I whispered. "It was so real." And then, right there at the end of the bar, with our noisy coworkers celebrating behind us, he leaned in and kissed me. And it was soft and sweet and perfect. It tasted like celebration and possibility. For a while, everything was perfect. The project was a huge success. Leo and I were together. We weren't just work partners anymore. We were real partners. We would spend weekends just walking around the city, finding little cafes, talking about everything and nothing. He would send me funny memes in the middle of the day just to make me smile. I would leave little notes in his jacket pocket. We thought we had it all. We thought that because we made such a great team at work, we would make a great team in life. But life isn't a project. You can't just work hard and make it perfect. Life is messy. And slowly, the cracks started to show. The thing that brought us together, the big project, it was gone. We didn't have that common goal anymore. We didn't have that reason to be together 24. He started getting new freelance jobs. I started working on other projects at the company. We were busy. At first, it was fine. We would text all day. We would still see each other a few times a week. But then the texts got shorter. The replies got slower. He would cancel plans because he had a deadline. I would be too tired to go out. And then came the first real fight. It was about something stupid. I don't even remember what. Probably about me feeling like he wasn't making time for me. About him feeling like I didn't understand how busy he was. It was a small fire, but we both poured gasoline on it. "You don't get it, Kiki," he yelled, running his hands through his hair until it was a mess. "I have to work. This is my career." "And I'm not your career," I yelled back. "I'm your girlfriend, or have you forgotten?" "That's not fair," he said, his voice quieter but harder. "You know how I feel about you."
Doi?
I asked, because lately I don't feel anything. The words hung in the air between us, ugly and sharp. He just looked at me, hurt in his eyes. Then he turned and walked out. We made up, of course. We always made up. He would show up at my door with my favorite takeout, looking so sorry. I would apologize for being dramatic. We would hold each other and promise to be better. It was like a cycle. Fight, make up, be happy for a little while, then fight again. The fights were always about the same thing.
Time.
Attention. Feeling like we weren't a priority. He would say I was too emotional. I would say he was too cold. And somewhere in the middle, we lost the two people who fell in love in that tiny project room. One night, after a particularly bad fight, I was sitting on my floor crying. I looked around my apartment. I saw a book he had given me, a hoodie he left here, a photo of us on my fridge, smiling, from a time when smiling was easy. And I realized something terrible. We were holding on so tight to what we had that we were breaking it. I called him. He answered on the first ring. "Kiki?" "Leo," I said, my voice shaky. "I think we need to talk. Really talk." He was quiet for a moment. "Yeah," he said softly. "I think you're right. We met at a park. Not a cafe, not a restaurant. A park." It felt neutral. It was a cold day, and we sat on a bench, watching the leaves blow across the grass. We didn't touch. "I don't want to fight anymore," I said.
"Me neither," he said.
"I hate it. I hate that we keep hurting each other." "I don't know how to fix us, Leo," I admitted. "We were so good in that little room. Why can't we be good out here?" He was quiet for a long time. Then he said something that broke my heart. "Maybe," he said slowly, "we were only good in that little room. Maybe that's the only place we work." I looked at him, tears in my eyes. "What are you saying?" He looked at me, and his eyes were wet too. "I'm saying I love you, Kiki. I love you so much it scares me. But I don't know how to be the boyfriend you need. I don't know how to give you what you want. And it's killing me to keep failing you." "You don't fail me," I whispered. "I do," he said. "Every day."
"And you don't fail me."
"But we're failing us. And I don't know how to stop it." We sat there for a long time, just crying. Two people who loved each other, but couldn't figure out how to make it work.
It was the saddest moment of my life.
"We need to let it go," he finally said, his voice breaking. "Don't we?" I wanted to scream no. I wanted to grab him and hold on and never let go. But I knew he was right. We were poisoning the beautiful thing we had. We were turning our love into something sad and full of fights. "Yeah," I whispered, the words tasting like poison. "I think we do." He reached out and took my hand, just like he did that night in the project room. He held it gently, and we just sat there, together, for the last time. "We had something special, didn't we?" he said. "We did," I said, crying. "We really did." He let go of my hand. He stood up. He looked at me one last time, his face full of so much pain. "Goodbye, Kiki." And then he walked away. I watched him go, and I felt like a part of me was walking away with him. I sat on that bench until it got dark and cold, and I cried until I had no tears left. The weeks after were the hardest. My apartment felt empty. The city felt empty. Everything reminded me of him.
Stupide même.
A coffee shop. The smell of laundry soap. I threw myself into work. I took on every project I could. I worked late every night, just so I wouldn't have to go home to my quiet apartment. Steve, my boss, noticed. He pulled me aside one day. "Kiki," he said in his usual stressed way, "you're doing great work, but you look tired. Are you okay?"
I almost laughed.
Was I okay?
No.
I was the opposite of okay. But I just smiled and said, "I'm fine, Steve. Just really into this project." He didn't look convinced, but he let it go. Months passed. The pain didn't go away, but it changed. It became a dull ache instead of a sharp knife. I learned to live with it. I learned to laugh again, even if the laughs were a little smaller. I learned to be Kiki again, just Kiki, not Kiki and Leo. And then one day, about a year after we broke up, I got an email. It was from him. The subject line was, "A project." My heart stopped. For a second, I was back in that tiny room, looking at his messy hair and his real smile. I almost deleted it. I almost ran away. But instead, with shaking hands, I opened it. "Hey, Kiki. I know it's been a long time. I hope you're doing well. I'm writing to you because I have a project. It's a big one. And honestly, it's too big for me. I need a partner. I need someone who speaks art while I speak computer. No pressure. Just thought I'd ask."
Lao.
I read it 5 times. 6 times. A project. He wanted to work with me again. My first instinct was to say no. Too much pain. Too many memories. But then I thought about that little room. I thought about the pizza at 3 a.m. I thought about the way he fixed my colors with a few lines of code. I thought about how in that room we were magic. Maybe I thought, just maybe, that magic was still there. Maybe it was hiding, waiting for us to find it again. So I wrote him back. Just 2 words. "I'm in." He replied in 5 seconds. "Same place? Tomorrow at 6. The next day, I stood outside our old office building. My heart was pounding. What if it was awkward? What if we hated each other? What if we had nothing left? I walked in. I went to the little room. And there he was. He was standing by the whiteboard, drawing something with a marker. He looked the same. A little older, maybe, but the same messy hair. The same warm eyes. He turned when I walked in, and he smiled. That same real smile. "Hey, partner," he said. And just like that, it felt like no time had passed at all. "Hey, translator," I said, smiling back. We stood there for a moment, just looking at each other. The room felt the same.
Small. Messy.
Full of possibility. "So," I said, walking over to the whiteboard, "what's the project?" He grinned. "It's a big one. You ready?" I picked up a marker. I was born ready. And for the next few hours, we worked. It was just like before. He would have an idea, I would draw it. I would have a problem, he would code it. We finished each other's sentences. We laughed at the same stupid jokes. At midnight, we finally stopped. We were both exhausted. We looked at the whiteboard, full of our drawings and notes, and then we looked at each other. "This feels nice," he said quietly. "Yeah," I said. "It does." There was a long silence. Then he said, "Kiki, I'm sorry. For everything. For not being able to figure it out back then." I shook my head. Me too. I put too much pressure on us. I forgot that love isn't a project you can finish. It's something you have to keep working on every day. He nodded slowly. "Maybe," he said, "we were trying to build a house before we even had a strong floor. We were so good at working together, but we forgot to just be together. To be normal." "I don't want to be normal," I said, smiling a little. "I want to be us. The real us. The one that stays up until 3 a.m. and eats bad pizza." He laughed. Me too. He took a step closer to me. Do you think we could try again? But differently this time? Slower? Without all the pressure?" I looked at him. My Leo. The one who fixed my colors. The one who made me laugh. The one I never stopped loving. Even when I was trying so hard to. "I'd like that," I whispered. He reached out and took my hand, just like he did that first time. And it felt like coming home. "Okay," he said, smiling. "So, how about we start with a pizza? And maybe some terrible reality TV?" I laughed. Tears in my eyes. Happy tears this time. "That sounds perfect." And so, We didn't jump back into a big love. We didn't make any big promises. We just ordered pizza. We watched a stupid show. We talked. We laughed. We started building that floor, one small, simple moment at a time. It wasn't easy. We had to learn each other all over again. We had to learn to communicate better, to be patient, to forgive. But this time, we weren't in a rush. This time, we knew that the best projects take time. And love, real love, is the biggest project of all. We're still working on it, every single day. And you know what? It's amazing. So, that's my story. The story of how I fell in love while working on a big project, how I lost it, and how maybe, just maybe, I'm finding it again.